All right, trying to make a PubSub model here in Blueprint to just see what this is like. Okay, so basically, putting it in the game instance, this ability to publish arbitrary events. Right now, I've got it set up as the inputs are as a string of string maps, and then you have to parse that into the actual contract. That's going to be called. So I thought to put it on interface and then um, have that just like be called on the subscriber. So basically what this means is when something is created like this HUD over here, and I have a whole bunch of debug code right now because I'm running into an issue. When this object is created, it will subscribe to the game instance, and it's going to be looking for this event called main menu bounce hit. And when that happens, we have a interface here that we're implementing, and on oh gosh, no, where is it? Here it is. Yeah, event main menu bounce it, right? So when this happens, when something publishes this event, it will then execute whatever arbitrary logic that I've got. And so the advantage of doing this is that I don't need to set up references everywhere to like know ahead of time what is calling what. And that'll kind of solve the crop out issue where, BP player had the entire game inside of it because um, it had references to all these other entities in the game, and so you couldn't just export BP player because it had references to everything. So I had to export everything, and I don't want that. So I use these PubSub models, and we have this in Unity already. In our Unity version of the game, it's written in C# though, so this is kind of different than what I'm used to. But anyways, so yeah, we have the switch on string. It's pretty crude, like what I've got going on, but it does try to work, but I'm running into an issue. So here's the issue, and the issue is something about the object reference is getting lost. So I'm subscribing. I put myself, the self, which is going to be this W. It stands for widget blueprint, the underscore before the underscore, then HUD2, and so we have self, and so it's a reference to this blueprint here. I think it's a reference to this instance of the blueprint. And so, okay, pass this guy in and we subscribe. So what happens is we come over here and subscribe. Here's our subscriber. So we run through, and what we do is we take an existing, this looks really messy, but there's a list of subscribers. And what it is we store them by the event name, and then we have a list of references. And so it has this special struct over here. And so this struct just is a list of, it's a subscription limit and a list of object references. So this list of object references is going to be used to fire off on publish. But we have to mutate this array. So we basically just instantiate a new array, rebuild it, and then add the original, the new subscriber back in. And so that's supposed to work. And then we, return back the new number of subscribers for that event type. Now, what I've been doing to test this is because I can't cast it back out. For some reason, it's getting lost, so I'm echoing this out. So I have this check that I'm doing to see what type of object it is, if I can cast it. So I'm checking, does it implement interface? And right now I'm just hard coding this to test it. And what I'm finding is that it's okay, actually. So when you pass this guy in the subscribe, the object reference can be dereferenced successfully. So if I run this real quick, let me, can I get to the screen? It's not letting me, hold on. Let's go over here. I don't know why I can't see the screen. It's super weird. Yeah, it's like forcing this on top. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. But all right, let's go play. Okay, so what we see here, and this is really tough to, so I have check. So midway check is true. And so what I'm checking to see, does it have the interface? Yes. But then whenever it gets put inside the struct, S list of objects check false. And then there's this other one, it's kind of out of order, like pre-subscribe interface check true, midway check true, S list of objects false. So it's, basically to demystify this a little bit, I've got 3 logs that I'm firing off. I have where is it? These debug logs to see. So this pre-subscribed interface check. So this is before I fire off. This is after the subscription, and I just check to see, hey, does this object, WPB, actually implement the interface that I'm looking for, and it returns true. So that's nice. Then inside of here, my second check, I'm just calling it a midway check, and it's checking to see, okay, I passed you into this function here, and I was not certain if I needed to do this pass by reference thing or not. And so basically it should already be a reference, which was kind of confusing. So I was like, So anyways, this does work. So you pass it in, comes in here, I do the same check, and I test it, midway check, it comes out true. Now, after I add it into this array though, this S list of object refs, and then I pull it out and I go and get this object and do the same exact test. Like all I've done is just added it into the array. Then this returns false. So this S list of object test returns false, and I do not know what the heck to do about this. Like it is, I am floored by, I don't know what to do because it's just an object reference, so it's almost like it's changing somehow. But of course, when this happens, when you put it inside this array and it breaks, that means whenever I go to publish to try and read that object back out, that object reference, it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So like, where are you? So on publish here, whenever we publish this event, on maybe I should just do it real quick. But so here's all these like logs. So and I put some error logs, failed publish event, domain. So it like it says object blank, like it's empty. So the parameters are getting parsed okay, but the object itself, the reference is like somehow corrupted or wrong, and I just don't understand why. Why putting it inside an array, a structure of an array, is like causing it to break, and so that's currently the issue. So I've got some plans to try and fix this. By altering the way that I'm storing it. So instead of storing it in a struct, I was going to store it in a variable, but these variable maps, um, you can't put a array into this secondary thing. So I can put one object reference here. So I could do this, for example. So example. So if I wanted to do a map, actually, yeah, you can't really, it's a little obnoxious, but you have to pick the key type here and then come over here, and this is where you can change it to a map. Um, and if I wanted a list, like object list reference, like I can't make this a list of, like this would just be one object, which would mean one subscriber. That's not going to work for this pattern. We need to be able to support multiple subscribers and then some metadata about the subscription as well. So so I can create a struct that stores that information, or I could create like even a class that would store that information, like pass in a blueprint class that they all derive from. So I thought of, it feels a little heavy. Like I'm not sure I want to do that because of this widget here, this common activatable widget versus like a BP player, which is a parent class pawn. Like I really don't want to try and mess with that. Like I want to leave that alone and just, use interfaces or something a little bit more lightweight. So anyways, dealing with that, it's a lot of jargon. Um, but if you're, into blueprints, you probably have more of an understanding than I do about what's going on here. Typically with programming like code directly, you don't run into this. Like a reference is a reference. So I don't know what's so special about structs that the reference is getting like ripped up. So all I'm doing is just adding it to this array here. Um, and then it's screwed up at that point. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna try a few things. I have some stuff written out, so I'm gonna give it a shot and see if I can work around this and see if I can get this to work again.